Obligatory podcast intro.
Hi, hello, and welcome. This is Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. I'm Matt. This is my co-host, Adam. And this show is where we take all 13 letters of the alphabet, we cut them into little pieces and put them in a vase, and then we draw a letter and pick a comic book that starts with that letter. I don't know his. He doesn't know mine. Safe to say, spoilers ahead for everything
from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, just spoilers.
Yep.
If you like it, you like the comic we're talking about, pause it, go read it, and then come on back and listen. Did we figure out who's going first?
If we are switching, then you are going first.
I'm going first.
Uh-huh.
All right, man. Mine was
Let's just hear the name. Yeah.
very interesting. I drew D, and you had G.
Yep.
So I had to pick a comic. Began with D. It was it's called Dave, and it's spelled D4VE.
Okay.
It's a neat thing. So everyone's name in the comic has numbers instead of vowels.
Okay.
So
everybody.
like Neil would be like N31L.
Oh, okay.
So there's a character named Scotty who's 5 Cotty.
Clever.
Yeah. So this is Dave. It was written and lettered by Ryan Ferrier, and art by Valentin Ramon. It's Tin.
Yeah, I would say teen, I guess.
Valentin Ramon. It's a Monkey Brain Comics.
Okay.
So
I don't know. Have we done anything by them so far?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, there is a continuation of this story. So there's a second book and a third book, or volume, I guess.
Excellent.
Graphic novel. And those are done by IDW. So I think they switch somewhere along the way.
Mine does that. Mine does the exact same thing. I think they go through 3 different publishers. Yeah.
All right, so this is Dave, D4VE, or Dave. Midlife crisis Dave, the defense bot turned desk slave, withers away at a soul-sucking day job, quietly dreaming of his monster-punching past.
Okay.
Unbeknownst to, and I don't want to tell you yet. So this world that Dave takes place in, it's wild. All right, so apparently humans somewhere along the way, everyone is a robot. Let me just start by saying that. Everything and everyone is a robot.
The dog's a robot.
There's no
people.
animals.
Okay.
But I'll explain it in a second. So they made robots to do like real menial work. So like janitors and like little bullshit jobs.
Stereotypical robot.
They were like, they advanced, and throughout the years they got upgrades and they got better. And so they started doing better jobs. So instead of 2 human pilots, you had a robot and a human. Then eventually they upgraded even more and were like, we don't need you. We got this. We can build everything. We could do everything. And then they were like, let's just kill them all. So they were like, an uprising happened.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, he said, as he's narrating, Dave is like, it wasn't an uprising. It was a straight man-meat ass-kicking.
It would have been a massacre.
So they killed everyone on the planet. They killed every living thing on the planet. There's metal birds and metal dogs and robotic cats running around. So they're all gone.
Alive.
So not only did they kill humans, because since the humans died, all these aliens and other planets were like, oh, we're coming to get a slice of Earth. Yeah. So they show up, and Dave is a defense robot, right? That was his whole gig. He went out and killed them all. Him and his 2 partners. There's other ones, but it mainly focuses on him and his 2 guys. It killed all of them. I mean, everything. They found every living thing out in the universe, the galaxy, as far as they can reach, and they murdered them all. Everything. So they were like, we're the only things left. So there's a line where it's like, okay, after humans disappear, the robots started taking on their nuances. So like, they have jobs.
They started to get quirky.
Yeah, and they had no reason to learn or grow because there was no one left to reprogram them, defrag them, make them better. So they just end up being like humans. They have families. They live in a house. They go to jobs, regular jobs. There was a shot of a guy on the side of the road that says, "We'll work for oil." So like all the food is like the cereal's like honey bunches of nuts, or like, not nuts, honey bunches of bolts.
The robots universe.
That's what it's actually called, honey bunches of nuts, right? Isn't that the
oats?
The actual
honey
cereal?
Bunches of oats.
It's oats.
Yeah,
it's not nuts.
That's a different one.
I don't think that's a real thing. I used to cross out oats on my roommate's box and write nuts on it all the time. So I guess I just took just calling them honey bunches of nuts. My bad. Yeah, it was honey bunches of bolts. And so like lubricant, there's a robot that is masturbating at one point, and it's like oil lubricant. And oil is the only thing they consume.
Oh, cool.
So,
okay.
So anyway, he's an account manager, at a power plant, and his boss is just like a dick, and I think that like he's programmed to be a dick.
So you know what robot, I mean? So yeah,
there's
kind of just doing what he's supposed to do.
There is a line where Dave is like, "I never defragged myself to not be a defense bot." He never got rid of his defensive capabilities and his fighting skills to be a menial worker, like a regular everyday job.
He kept it. Yeah, he didn't need it.
So he's always kind of like, oh, one day it's gonna happen. They're gonna need me. So he's got his two partners are out there as well. So he's like going through shit with his wife. It's rough. They have a kid named Scotty. Scotty.
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to spend time with it. It's great. She was like, we ordered him 3 weeks ago, and you haven't got to know him at all. She's like, you need to spend time with him. He's like, I guess he's programmed to he's a total dick. He calls him when he's at work, and he's like, hey, your wife left you, and your house is on fire. And Dave like rushes home, and he's just sitting there like smoking some kind of paraphernalia, some kind of drug, I guess, that these robots, they go out drinking at one point. So I'm guessing there's some kind of oil that gets them drunk.
Yeah.
Or, now, when he goes to sleep, he said, oh, I had a night cycle, and I had a bad images during the night cycle, which is basically
a dream.
A dream.
Okay.
So I think maybe there's like a drunk program they run.
Oh,
like it could possibly be, or they're just actually getting drunk.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
So he ends up going to the Robot Titty Club, which is awesome because, like I said, they've adapted just everything.
It's an exact replica.
It is.
Basically.
It's just all robots.
Yeah.
So they go to the Titty Club, they get wasted. His wife ends up leaving him. He ends up having to spend time with his son that he ordered 3 weeks previous.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to while all that's happening, he's going through shit at his job, wife and kid, and all that. Concurrently, there is a alien invasion happening, and they got these big brown heads, like kind of like spikes and looking weird everywhere. I thought I had a picture of them. I took a bunch of pictures, but I didn't take one of them. Yeah, anyway, big brown heads, a lot of little spikes everywhere. Real ugly guys.
Alien-looking aliens.
Alien, very alien.
Yeah, okay, cool.
They're not sneaking around incognito at all. Even with the hood up, you're like, what the hell is that?
It's super obvious.
Very obvious.
Yeah.
So, they're called the Kalar, I believe. So I think their whole deal, they haven't fully gone into it, but they show up in planets and their queen has to feed and birth. So I don't know if she just makes more of them, but they need the planet's core.
Ooh, to feed?
Yeah. So after Dave messes up at his job, he gets promoted to do something about the planet's core because the robots have...
This is his call to arms?
Yeah, well, no, not yet. So he like I said, he went to the Titty Club and he bailed at work because his son said his house was on fire, and his boss got mad at him. But they were like, "Man, you just don't fit in here. We need to figure out some better place for you." So they give him this. He kind of rushes through it. The actual wording was like, blah, 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 planet core, yada, yada, yada. We're all going to die. It's very comedic. Like, it does not take itself serious at all.
Good.
It's like a robot Deadpool almost. Like, Dave's kind of a piece of shit, but he's like lovable.
Yeah.
Because you see, he's not doing awful things. He's just bad at what he does. Like, he's awful at his job. He doesn't care. So
he's still rough because of him retaining his military.
I guess if he reprogrammed himself, he would be like a great worker. And that's one of the bosses is like, I really do hate you. Like, you're the worst worker I've ever had in my life. Like, but we need to find a better place for you. So what they do is like I said, they yada, yada, yada planet core. So they sent him on a job to deal with this core, which they've depleted. The Kalar, where the aliens were speaking about it, and they were like, it's had some upgrades done to it. So they've gotten into the planet core because they can, and they've made adjustments to the tectonic plates.
Yeah, okay.
So, but they're like, the core's destabilizing fast. We can use it. What they're going to do is, the only line I saw was like, we'll bring new life, but the robots, earthlings, will fall, right? So they show up, deplete the core, and then maybe the planet disappears. I don't know if they kill everything on it and then it restarts. So I stopped at one point. I'll tell you about it. So they get that going. They're setting beacons all around the cities, everywhere. And then they're like, oh, Godspeed to job speed. Sorry, they don't have God. They have jobs. And I think it's a Steve Jobs thing, because the logo of the company that he works for is the shell symbol with devil horns. And I think it's the robots just being like, oh, I saw on the internet they're evil. They're like, okay, we'll put devil horns on it. Like, they don't care. They're on the news. The journalist is like, man, we're fucked. Like, I think we're in some deep shit, everyone. Like, they're not professional. They're cursing. They just don't care. They took our nuances, but they didn't take any morality.
The same yeah, they're not the same.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So the aliens set off this invasion. Once they set the beacons, they're like, the Armada's good to come in. Right? So the Kalar show up and they start discussing stuff with world leaders. Okay. Being like, hey, your core is depleting and we're going to save you. So, let's work together. Peaceful arrangement here. And Dave sees this on the news and he's immediately like, nah, hell no. Like,
he knows
this
better.
Dude, I did take a picture of this. So he goes downstairs with his son and he just loads up. So the picture I'm showing him is him in a suit with no jacket on. He's got a tie and he is just covered with pouches and ammo.
It looks like he's right. It looks kind of like a Deadpool
right?
picture.
Like, he's just loaded up. His arms are turned into guns.
Giant guns.
He's got grenades
Giant
everywhere.
cable-style guns.
And he was like, dude, no way. His son, dude, no way. And he's like, way. So he's like, he hits this little recorder he had, and it shows Dave, talking shit to these villains, and he's like, top rope, boy. And he's like, dude, you were a badass. And he was like, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
So he's like, let's go. So he's the only one at his job. He goes to his job to download something on the computer he needs, and they're like, no, we're working with the Kalar. You're off the planet core thing. You're fired. You're ghosted. Get out of here for job's sakes. So he gets what he wants. He ends up leaving. Him and his son are driving around, and I think he goes to see his wife to talk to her for a minute, and he gets all his guns and he's ready to go. So the last page was all the aliens coming to Earth. They're actually off the ship. They lied to everyone, and now they're ready to attack and invade. And he is the only one that's like, nah, we're stopping this. Oh, he did go to his old partners, though.
Oh, his two homies?
Yeah, the guys that they literally killed every living thing with. And they're just like, nah, man, we don't want to do that. Like, you need to stop fighting, Dave. You just need to,
Damn.
know. So I don't know if they're just really tight with each other and live together, or they're gay robots.
Oh, okay.
Which
gotcha.
they can be, it doesn't.
It wouldn't make any sense to either way with a robot. It's just a robot.
I'm sure if there's any pleasure programmed in, it's like, let's connect some wires and vibrate
because they're
for
just
a minute.
robots. They're not people, so they wouldn't be a man or a woman.
Yeah, because you would need nerve endings.
They're just robots.
But they are men, because the women have
they have
breasts.
like program.
Yeah, because they went to the titty club.
Gotcha. You're right.
So
right.
like they were seeing big titty robots dancing.
Oh my god.
At the titty club. But so the comic ends the third. I read there's 5 issues of this one, 4 issues of Dave 2, and then 4 issues of Dave-ocracy.
Okay, so what is that?
So spoiler, he lives.
Or something, 9 or something.
Yeah, 5, 4, 8, and 13.
Oh, okay.
So 13 issues is 5, 4, and 4. Yeah, 13.
That's cool.
Oh, man, I beat you at a math problem, bro.
Real quick too.
Yeah, I mean it was 5 plus 8, but I still did it. Always like, look, if I ask you a math problem, just know that I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm literally waiting for you to answer me.
I might even move my fingers like I am.
I used to like, sorry, real quick. My dad would he would talk out loud and he'd be like, all right, 7 times 3, that's 22. And I'd be like, yeah. And he was like, no, that's 21. That's not right. And I'm like, yeah. All right. And he's like, that's not 21. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know what you want from me. Yeah. I'm just backing you up, Dad. So anyway, I freaking love the comic. I'm definitely going to read the rest. This Ryan Ferrier and Valentine Ramon are killing it.
Yeah.
It's very fun, very funny.
So one of them did the art and the lettering?
Yes. And the writing and the lettering.
The writing and the okay.
So that's what the words look like.
Yeah, the actual literal
art is
lettering.
this Valentine Ramon guy. And I showed you the pictures. It's really cool. Again, I'm not going to try to explain it, but
no, it is cool.
It's not annoying. It doesn't bother me at all. It's pleasant to look at. That's when they went off and just started killing everything.
Marking every living
thing. Everything.
That's awesome.
So yeah, look. Oh, there's the "We'll work for oil."
Yeah, so it's just
he's like picking bolts up off the ground.
There's like direct analogs of like everything with a human.
Oh yeah, no, they just incorporated everything. They're like, we are the earthlings now. So TV shows, there's.
Oh, that's what you were saying, that the aliens were like, these are the earthlings. We're gonna wipe the earthlings out.
And they're talking about the robots because humans have been gone for a while now.
Guess how long do we have any clue?
Oh man, it did say it.
Sorry to put you on spot.
Yeah, no, it did say it. I don't recall. It's been a while. Good while. I mean, enough for them to like move into houses and start jobs.
Yeah, they had specific they're
robots, so they
human jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Super
account
human.
manager.
Yeah, that's extremely human job.
I'm pretty sure there's like restaurants where they go eat nuts and bolts and drink oil and
everything
stuff.
has an analog. So like they even if they don't need to do something, if it's a human thing, they try to copy it.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Seems like it. That's awesome.
So like, I mean, yeah, they have romance movies. I'm pretty, like I said, restaurants, bars. They went to the titty club. And, so
that's awesome.
And they've probably worked in every facet of our society, and all the way down to homelessness. Like they're robots
who
who
work for oil.
I'm assuming, are like, I'm not defragging because it's programming, right? Wouldn't you just be able to be like,
don't
all right,
think about it too much. I think is how you get by.
But I think you could go program yourself to be like, all right, I'm gonna be a barista for robots, or I'm gonna be a window washer. So you go somewhere, your fucking hard drive at home, and program yourself like the Matrix to be the best window washer.
Yeah, the guy was still tough because he didn't do that, right? And he still had his wars. So
he like you were
saying, if he reprogrammed, he would be good at that job.
Yes.
So yeah, you're right. They say it in the world.
It's really just a choice. So those robots are probably just gay to be like, we're gay.
Yeah.
Because
they all have quirks like humans.
Yeah,
so
but they don't love each other.
Nobody does.
No.
Okay. So they try to make analogs, but they're not perfect human.
So
analogs.
I mean, he has a wife and they have a child
that they ordered.
Yeah. And he showed up. He's been here for 3 weeks.
You haven't guys spent any time
with. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
So I think they just try to simulate it.
Yeah,
because they have.
I know. Yeah.
I think the line of like, we had no reason to learn or grow meant they were just bored.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't know what to do. I guess they can't further themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe. You would think they would get to a point where like, we know how to make ourselves better now. Or their want to do so is gone.
Oh,
so
they
like,
have no more drive.
They could very easily fix themselves and make the society flourish.
Right.
Because, how many robots are there? You know, they never definitively said how many. I mean, we replaced them for jobs.
A city of robots or
So,
the whole planet?
It has to be a whole planet because they've replaced all jobs. So I'm sure we look like some Wall-E shit for a while until they just decided, all right, let's kill everything.
Finally stop feeding us.
So, and apparently the robots are way worse for the atmosphere. They've completely depleted the ozone. I think if you said something about getting struck by lightning pretty easily if you're to go up there. So I'm pretty sure it's like death.
It's bad.
To not fly in a spaceship. If you're just like jumping out of a plane, you might get hurt. But it seemed like they had sunny days, you know, so I guess it's not that bad. But they're not worried about blistering heat.
Yeah, they're robots.
And it's radiation, right? From the sun?
Yeah.
Because that's what the ozone is doing, right?
Yep.
So apparently they've messed it up. They've depleted all resources. They have nothing but oil.
Yeah, we started them off on a good start, and then they just took it away.
They took care of a lot of this for us.
We got this. Hold my beer. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I wonder... Yeah, like, 'cause they just killed so many aliens. I would not only am I going to read the other 2 volumes, the other 2 series of this, I would love like a prequel. I would love to see Dave like in his, not his youth, but like his prime programming.
Yeah, his early after his I don't know, programming originally, his finish date.
Yeah, so I want to see him kicking ass. That would be fun.
That's awesome.
Just like a little series. So I like the idea that their personalities may possibly be programmed in.
Yeah, it is a good idea. I like it.
If it's like a homeless, lazy dude, he's just like...
Because he wants to.
That's me.
That's it. He's like, that's how I am.
And they're like, you have to be this in our society. We need this because that's what humans had. So you have to be the town drunk. You have to be the guy asking for change.
Yeah, he's like, oh, but I don't want to. And they're like, but you have to.
That's your job.
That's you.
Yeah, they made a line. There was a line in there about, like, we're robots. We are our jobs. Like, when you were doing your...
Yeah, because their function is their entire...
That was the point.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that he's an account manager is just... It's awful because he's not programmed to do that at all. So I like the idea that the son is, like... He's going to be a 14-year-old just asshole.
Like forever, though, right?
I mean... yeah, like, your role is to be the son, the 14-year-old son forever.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It's like making a baby vampire. That's messed up.
It's terrible.
That's messed up.
Yeah, this dude's going to be smoking whatever the equivalent to weed is and jacking off.
Forever.
In the room with doors open forever.
He's lived with his folks for 85 years.
Yeah, because they don't get older. Like, I guess if the programming center exists, they could be like, all right, make this fucker 32 already.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, we don't know.
Can I get a wiser son here?
All right.
So what you got?
All right, man. So I got Grendel, black, white, and red. I have to be specific about that. There's a million different Grendels.
Are they same series? Or?
Okay, so yeah, I'm about to get into it. It's all
My bad.
all Matt Wagner, or 90%, 95% of the stories are written by Matt Wagner and illustrated by other people. The first couple things that Matt Wagner did, he illustrated himself, actually.
Oh.
So in the 80s, he was part of a small company. I forgot what it was called. It's not super important. But it was like a small black and white, like backup comic, kind of. Mm-hmm. And it was super popular at the time. And he kind of got sidetracked from it, focusing on another comic called Mage that was his main focus. And then Grendel was it was popular.
Mage?
Yeah, it was
I feel
popular.
like I've seen that one before.
So Grendel was like a backup sometimes in Mage. So it kept going like that. And then eventually he was able to focus on it and did like a run with other people drawing it. And that's where it started to like, to me, where it really shines. His artwork is fine. To me, it's a little simple. In the 80s, I'm sure it was fresh and like really cool.
Easy to be original.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But his writing was in its kind of infancy in those first ones. But whenever he started doing the full-on series, that's when I was like, oh man, this is really cool. So what I have here is technically a bunch of prequel stuff to the main storyline of Grendel.
So do you need to know all that previous stuff?
Kinda.
So it's daunting a little.
Yeah, so whenever I got this, I kind of knew a little bit about Grendel, and I knew this wasn't the main storyline. So those are the two things I went in knowing. I knew Grendel was supposed to be cool, and that it had a bunch of stories, and that this was not the main story.
Right.
So whenever I bought it from half price, I knew those couple things, but besides that, I didn't know a lot. So I read it and then I did my research after. It's really cool to, if you had read all the other Grendel stuff and then you read this, I'm sure it would be like extra badass.
Oh, but even just knowing certain things. Okay.
Yeah, because there's characters that pop in that are given zero explanation. Referencing things that you have not seen in this. And so what really attracts me to the series is that it's basically an anthology series.
Ooh, I know you like those, big guy.
That's my big thing, yeah.
I know you like
Anybody
those.
who knows me knows I love a good anthology. Sci-fi, comic, whatever.
Dude,
anthologies.
I can't stand them.
Horror anthologies, love it.
What about video form? Do you like
VHS, the horror show?
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you meant tape.
Nah, the movie
But you
VHS.
like anthology movies and TV shows? Okay.
I do actually a lot. Like the Guillermo del Toro sci-fi show that he came out with, Cabinet of Curiosities. That was really cool.
He sucks.
So going into this, I knew it was going to be a bunch of stories. Almost all these stories focus on Hunter Rose, who was the first and most famous of all the people that took on the name Grendel. So Grendel isn't just one person.
It's a moniker.
It's a moniker / force of nature is how I've heard it described multiple times.
Okay.
Of rage and your inner demon, your id, kinda. Hunter Rose. I'll just real quickly because there's so many little stories in what I read. I'm not gonna go and break down all these little stories.
We got time.
At the end, after I explain what I'm going to explain, I might relate one of the stories quickly.
Right.
But so what I was saying was, what was I saying? The Hunter Rose. So Hunter Rose was, I think he was 15. He is like a uber child. He's like super genius kid. Everything he does, he's perfect at. He gets straight A's without trying.
That's called an uber child?
No, it's like a wonder kid. And uber child describes the same thing.
Okay.
But he's 15 when we meet him, and he is a fencer. He doesn't even try though because
he builds fences for the neighbors.
Yeah, like sword fighting, fencing. Yeah, that was funny.
No, it wasn't.
No, not at all. I was trying to be nice.
You shouldn't have acknowledged it and
I just kept going.
Went on. It's even way more awkward now that we're
trying to be nice about it. Yeah, on it. That was bad.
So he fought with swords.
So he's a fencer
and built fences
he didn't
as a hobby.
He didn't care. He could beat anybody at any time. He would compete against adults, and they were no competition.
He's a badass.
Yeah. So he finally, whenever he got to like basic international competition, he finally started fighting people where he was like, oh, like this person's actually going to be good. So he's fighting
this Italian dude can sword fight.
I think, dude, that's hilarious. I think it literally was an Italian
guy.
yeah,
they're famous for sword fighting.
So he fights this guy. The guy's kind of good, but partway through he realizes nobody's going to be good. He doesn't care. So he loses like the championship because he does not care at all. He's not doing it for fame. He was competing to find somebody that was good. That was as good as him. so he
Right.
could have a real challenge. Couldn't find it. So at that,
so he knew as he's fighting these guys, I'm better.
I'm better, and just like
It's
let
like a
him
Jedi.
win.
Just
Yeah,
I already
didn't
know
even-
I'm gonna win.
Just let him win. He didn't care.
Okay.
So like at that meet, he meets a older woman, something Rose. I forget her name, and she's 20 years older than him. I think he's 15 when they meet, and she's 35. I'm pretty sure. And he falls in love with her instantly. He's like a cold dude. He like barely has feelings and stuff. And as soon as he sees this chick and she
Same.
talks to him, as soon as she talks to him, his like there's like hearts in his eyes and shit. Like he didn't care about nothing before, but as soon as this chick talks to him, he's like in love.
He turns into a wolf and starts
Yeah,
howling.
ooga ooga with the eyes poking in and out. But like, so they fall in love and they like get together, and he runs away from his uncle.
She got with a 15-year-old.
Yeah, and they run away together. Like
it's kidnapping, bitch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's considered rape too, but I was gonna just gloss over that.
Sorry.
All right. All right. So they run away together. They have a passionate love affair.
Oh, that's definitely yeah.
It's,
All right.
Like there's like nude scenes in it, and even in this one,
And he's a regular human, right?
he's just a dude.
Just a
he's
dude.
just a dude, basically.
right.
An amazing dude. Like he's a genius. He's 18. He was 15 when they started. By the time he's 18, he's a published author, like an extremely famous published author. He's like a businessman. He's like top of everything by the time he's 18.
And he's still with her.
Yeah, he's with her, and then she basically out of nowhere dies. She had like cancer or something. They don't really specify.
She didn't tell
She
nobody?
didn't really tell him. She wanted to like not live the sad part.
Do it like a dog.
Almost
Die
just
under
like
the porch.
out of nowhere, basically.
Yeah.
So that kind of breaks him a little bit and breaks him up, and he changes his name from before because it wasn't originally Hunter Rose. He takes her last name.
I was gonna say, his name's Rose as well?
His name was like Eddie something, and so
My name's Hunter
yeah.
now.
So that's why I'm glad I'm explaining it. And
My real
then
name was Buford.
It was like Edwin or Edward or something, and
Yuck.
so after she dies, he makes up the Hunter part of it, and then takes her last name. He's Hunter Rose now, and at that point, he starts wearing a badass costume that's like it's actually not badass. It's kind of like if a real world person was trying to put together a superhero costume, how it would come together. So like I don't know.
Is
like,
he barefoot?
No, he's got like stocking feet sock type thing.
He looks like
It's
someone
weird.
would be on one of
They
those.
say it's flowing. They
rafts?
they describe it as loose and flowing a lot of times. And he's got like a Spider-Man / Spawn mask, basically.
Oh, I see. I thought that was
It's
just
a-
his face. Let me see. it
No,
real
so
quick.
that he's just a normal looking dude with a white streak in his hair. That's how you distinguish him between all the artists, because there's a million different artists, and how you distinguish who's who is he's got a white streak in his hair.
Okay.
And he's wearing suits 99%
you see
of
him.
the time.
You see him without his mask. I
Yeah,
guess. Okay.
a lot of times. So now he's Hunter Rose, but now he's the Grendel as well. He's like hardcore. He creates a suit. He makes a forked staff with like forked knives on the end. It's silly looking, but it's supposed to be electrified too as well. So it kind of that part
Comes in handy.
Kind of silly, but he uses it really well, and he becomes like an assassin / mobster / mob leader
So-
eventually.
Oh, okay.
And
So he's not a superhero. Cool.
he's the opposite of a superhero. I wouldn't even call him. He would barely
Hey.
even be considered an anti-hero.
A non-superhero.
He's just a bad guy that's the main character.
Oh, cool. I love that.
So yeah, so that's.
I do like the outfit though.
The outfit looks cooler than being able to describe it. When you see it, it's all black with white gloves and white boots and a cool mask.
I wish he was barefoot though. It looks like he's barefoot. I think that would be
in
cool.
the art, the original art. You
Sorry,
definitely
Wagner.
could not tell.
No.
You definitely, because like
It's
I said,
not
it
a
was
big
super
deal.
simple, super simple in the original art.
I think
but
it's supposed to be like sleek, right? Isn't that what you said? Like
yeah,
fancy.
yeah. So like
Oh, it's like a ballet outfit.
kind of they use they said like a blousy performer's outfit or
Yeah,
something
so,
like
yeah.
that, like a old like theater group.
Yeah, it's like what they practice in.
Yeah,
Those
basically.
super skin tight onesies.
Yeah, so now he's Grendel, and he takes over like the underworld for the most part. He like slowly takes over. He works for different crime families. He is an assassin for the most part, and he's like the best assassin. He does like high profile stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like so he's just bad for the most part.
Real quick, do they skip over his like rise to that? They're just like, yeah, he's a badass now.
Yeah, they pretty much do.
Okay.
Yeah, they pretty much
That's
do.
fine.
Because in this one, like I said, what I read, this one is actually a lot of prequel to what you see in the main comic. So you see him, you kind of do see a little bit more of the rise in this one. So
nice.
I was almost mistaken. Yeah. So in this one, you see a bunch of contracts before he was all the way like taken over, basically.
Okay.
And he's like spreading his name. And the cool part is the good guy is a like hyena wolf looking man who looks like a werewolf kind of, but like an ugly werewolf. And he's like a Native American Algonquin man who got cursed 300 years ago to fight evil till the end of time. So he's the opposite of our main character. Our main character is beautiful and handsome and debonair, yet he does all the most terrible things there is to do.
And he's killing people.
Just like all basically innocent.
I mean,
people.
you said assassin, but
yeah, he's like killing innocent people as well. He doesn't care at all. And
straight
then,
murderer.
And then, so the good guy is like a really scary werewolf-looking guy that works with the police and is a good guy, but most of the people in the city are like scared of him because he's a literal
Fucking
monster.
werewolf.
And he's like one of the only monsters as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there a lot of people like this?
No, that's the funny part. So like, even our main character is semi-supernatural, is how I would describe it. He's got some supernatural qualities, being like extra quiet and extra sneaky.
Yeah, see, I always like that shit when they're
so-
not just full on magic powers.
so
but
he's not
slight.
jumping off of buildings, but he's jumping maybe from the top of one building to the top of the next building.
He's jumping off of those blue mailboxes they have on the streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about as high as he can go.
Hardcore.
Jumped off a dumpster once.
Yeah, so
It hurt my ankle.
So your main character, who is debonair and handsome, is just basically evil. Your good guy is really, it's kind of scary, and they play with that a little bit. And I'm actually not going to spoil that. I was going to spoil something because I always spoil it, but I'm going to skip that.
We said spoilers. You can spoil away.
but I'm actually not, because it's not necessary.
Okay.
So what I read, there was, good God, I don't know how many different.
Oh, is that the list of them?
list of artists?
So that's how many stories there are? Or some of those on multiple ones?
Yeah, basically. Because each issue in air quotes has like 4 stories in it.
Oh, wow.
Per issue, basically. So look, there's a butt ton of artists. So every few pages, the art completely changes.
Yeah, I was seeing that.
It get like there's some like
That is.
yeah, there's some good like really
Straight
detailed,
titties.
really nice stuff, really thick pen art.
We both got books with titties in them.
Like
Mine were
watercolor kinda. And
Look at that mega Chad.
Yeah. So the switching up of the art was my favorite part because, like I said, I'm an anthology freak, and seeing all the same characters and all these different interpretations was amazing. Having the main character have the giant white stripe in his hair, so no matter what art style you have, you can always identify him.
Right, I can see how that could be pretty cool, actually.
And this one being called Black, White, and Red, I don't know if I mentioned, it is literally the only colors in it are black, white, and red. There's no other colors. I guess technically there's gray too. So there's black, white, red, and gray.
Yes,
but
yeah.
it's amazing. It doesn't take away from anything. If anything at all, I think it kind of adds to it. I really have enjoyed it. There's like Haitian zombie type guys that he deals with. There's just every type of mob boss you can imagine.
Is that generally the bad guys? The mob?
People, yeah. So a lot of people that Grendel kills are other people in the underworld, but they kind of make a point to be like, if like their family's there's a witness, he's not worried about killing them too. So he's like, oh, he's not just killing the bad guys to stress that he's not the good guy,
right?
Because they don't want they want you to enjoy the character, but they don't want you to root for him too much. I don't think.
Is there at one point where they're rooting and he crosses a line and you're like, ooh,
So,
maybe not root for this guy? Or are you kind of with him the whole way? He's like Walter White. You know he's a piece of shit, but you want him to succeed.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of treatment he gets?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, see, I like that. It's conflicting where you're like rooting for someone you know
It's
is
the
wrong.
main character, but either everything they're doing, almost everything. He actually takes care of an orphan girl, and that actually I skipped that whole situation because it's actually really weird. Him and the wolf, his name is Argent. They both were trying to take care of this little girl. So the little girl lives
they
with.
move in together.
So the little girl lives with Hunter, but the wolf is allowed to come see her and like
on weekends.
Yeah, and hang out with her in a room and stuff,
visits.
and like teach her morals and stuff. Like, and they know who each other are.
Yeah.
Except they're not like fighting.
Like a
they don't
civil
fight all
divorce
the time.
couple.
It's weird. That's really weird. So
was that one issue? Like, they were like, oh, this is what we're going to do for this one issue?
Oh, no. Like, no, that's like it's a main story point.
Oh, so they're always...
The little girl,
they're
actually. So since I brought that up, I'm going to go real quick into the what happens after what I read and what the original Grendel was. Real quick, because I think it's amazing. So he dies. The original Grendel's dead in, like, one of the first stories.
The original?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hunter Rose dies. So... eventually, Hunter Rose's, I think it's granddaughter, becomes like the next Grendel, and like starts doing Grendel stuff, and like then she's the one that like records everything that happened with Hunter Rose. It's so the next one down the line becomes Grendel, and then she passes. And then another person becomes Grendel.
So they cover a lot.
Yeah, and all this is the future of what I was talking about.
And these are multiple series, or is this all one series?
Yeah, it's technically multiple series. They went through like multiple comic book companies over many years.
Oh, okay. So they're like, this one's still continuity, and that's what we're referencing.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So they keep going, and eventually, there is no one Grendel. Grendel becomes like an idea. And like there's like a cult that becomes like Grendel followers, and like it becomes the cult of evil, and like it's really cool, and it stretches out into the future. And the end of it, the last Grendel is Grendel Prime, a cyborg in the far future. Yeah, it's the Grendel Prime, and it's a cyborg in the super far future.
So that's crazy. So they embrace that kind of.
It gets really crazy and kind of silly at the end.
Yeah, sounds like.
So it's like one of Hunter's descendants is controlling the robot. The robot's like a big like bodyguard to a little kid.
So they maintain the kid thing.
Yeah.
So he got a wife eventually, I'm assuming, or is it the orphan who had children?
The orphan.
So it's not actually his blood.
Nah, technically not.
So if it's not passed down genetically, is there like a god that because you said he's slightly supernatural?
Kinda. It's like the idea of rage. And the idea of giving into your rage and doing what your id wants you to do.
Oh, shit, dude. I think I'm Grendel.
Trust me.
Furious man.
Not even close.
Yeah, no, I ain't trying to kill no one or take care of
So,
orphans.
like, his one redeeming quality basically is taking care of the orphan girl.
Yeah,
and besides
I'm just playing.
that, he's
I would totally take care
just
of
evil, and then it passes down. And there's so many stories over many years, over tons and tons of artists, and I'm really looking forward and looking into more. Yeah.
So are the other ones anthologies, or there's some where it's like this is the main
there's
line series?
Mainline Grendel series.
Okay,
I think there's multiple mainline series, and then there's also kind of short, more like what I have as well.
So
in between.
like some one shots. Maybe
They're like 4-issue chunks.
Oh right.
I'm pretty sure.
I love that, man.
Oh,
get
dude.
in and get out.
Having this,
Sweet.
even though if you let's say you went out like me and picked up Grendel, Black, White, and Red, and had no clue about anything around it, and you just read what I picked up, you would be confused. 100%. The orphan girl shows up out of nowhere. Argent, a monster,
the wolf guy,
comes out of nowhere, and you're just supposed to. He's like hanging out with the girl. I think the first time you see him in this one, I'm pretty sure he's in her room and they're hanging out playing dolls or something.
So you had to learn elsewhere of him being the superhero, the hero.
So I looked up and I watched a couple YouTube videos about the original storyline and the original series and whatnot, and learned about who Argent was and who the little girl was. And so after I learned that and looking back / going back and rereading some of it, it's definitely more pleasurable having an idea of what the hell's going on.
Well, yeah, right.
So
I assume so. But you didn't know that because what does it say anything on the back about it? Like a anthology and an ongoing series, like anything to let you know there was something more out there?
Kinda. I'm just gonna read the back. Like I like reading the back on this. This is pretty cool. Written by Wagner and illustrated by a virtual who's who of talented artists. This trade edition collects the 4-issue series that garnered the 1999 Eisner Awards for the best anthology and best short story, Devil's Advocate. In addition, it includes the very first black, white, and red Grendel story, Devil's Vagary, originally published in '87 and out of print until now. So it doesn't really give you a very good idea,
right?
That you kind of need to know more. You are kind of just expected. It describes the comic book a little bit above that, but besides that, it's really not. It doesn't really
indicate
let you know.
that hey, there's a bigger world that happened.
So
you
like
need to
most
know
comics, they expect you to know a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, they assume you're already on the train.
Yep. Yeah, you've read all this. Yes, exactly. You've done your due diligence, and you're at this point because you've run out of older stuff to read. That's how it usually is supposed to work.
Right. You're tired of the big 2 comic lines. Shit,
yeah. So he went through this. This one is published by Dark Horse, and I know it went through at least 2 companies at the very, very least. Maybe 3. I think it was 3 different comic book companies throughout the years. Because, like I said,
so did it end with Dark Horse, or is there?
I think Dark Horse is the end. Yeah.
Okay.
The newest stuff.
They're dope. They get their hands on something.
They do.
We'll make it cool.
I think I've already done a Dark Horse.
I did.
On here. Did we both do one, or did you?
Orphan and the 5 Beasts.
No, I did 2 Image ones. I think is what it was.
Yeah, Paper Girls was Image.
Oh no, I haven't done. Yeah.
And then you did Avengers, so that's no,
Marvel. I haven't. I haven't. But yeah, this is a Dark Horse, and it's a really good. It's like in between a hardcover and not a hardcover is how I would describe it.
It's a fancy paperback.
Yeah, it's a fancy paperback. The paper is great. The color saturation is great. I really do. I'm really glad I picked it up.
You keep flipping it, and I'm seeing certain ones that. Some really cool art that I get behind.
Yeah,
I like these like real grim looking ones.
There's some real gritty.
So that one's
grim
like
and
real
gritty.
Polished, looking like
almost like Archer style.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
And then you got like gritty,
fancy.
thin line, more realistic art.
Yeah,
but like I said, it's black, white, and red, and gray. I guess
like this one's wild. This one,
like noir style,
but like
art.
super exaggerated facial expressions and just faces.
Yeah,
I do like his outfit. That's the raw one I kept on.
Yeah, the bunch of red one. Yeah,
that one's pretty raw.
Some of the stories they'll use like the tiniest bit of red through it.
Damn, they're like straight smashing.
Oh yeah, no, it's an adult comic for sure.
So what I'm looking at?
Yeah, no, they actually depict multiple types of sex acts in it.
That's cool, man. See, when you get away from Marvel and DC, man, you find some crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. That's why I love the show. We already would do this with or without the podcast.
Yeah, that's why we're
find
doing
a
it.
comic, and then we're like, oh, we get excited and have to tell each other.
Yep.
So, but I love getting out of the wheelhouse, like getting out of I'm also reading Thor and stuff, but it's like I get tired of it every now and then. And I'm just like, I don't want to read this, crazy convoluted, a lot of continuity that goes into
80 years of continuity.
Yeah, so much, and then this cool thing Superman did in this one comic, but now 9 motherfuckers I have no idea who they are showed up, and it's like, oh, now I got to go read those, and it's fine. Like I enjoy.
Oh, we still do it, but you
exactly.
can't always do it.
It's nice getting into something. I mean, that straight like sex.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. So
two
like
people smashing.
a lot of people when they like think of adult comics, they'll think like, oh, they curse a lot, right?
Right.
Like that's like why it's an adult comic. It's like no, it's almost always sexual content and just extreme violence. Type of
extreme
stuff.
violence for sure.
Yeah, and there's definitely he tortures a guy. One of the stories, it's only a few pages, but the whole story is just him torturing a guy. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I would definitely recommend reading anything to do with Grendel. There's like a bajillion of it. Any of the trade paperbacks, any of the single issues, I would recommend checking it out. It's really cool. It's a larger universe than I thought I was going to step into.
Yeah, it seemed like you bit off more than you could chew.
It was
like,
a surprise.
Oh man,
it was like because I had only very tangentially heard of the comic before.
Right, you
I
probably
didn't know
just
much.
seen it or something.
I barely knew it. I barely knew anything.
Maybe
so.
heard it referenced in a video.
Yep.
Because I feel like I've heard of Grendel before. As soon as I saw it, I was like, man, I probably
Tickles something in the back of your head.
Because like I said, I go online and I look on a giant list I found, and I'm pretty sure I've clicked on it somewhere along the line, like way before we even did this.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
So it seems cool, man. I would like to read a main series of Grendel.
Yeah.
I don't get into
too.
anthology too much. Like it bothers me, man, when I get into one thing and then it changes. I'm like, no, I just got into that. Like I go head first, pretty deep into stuff. So
yeah, I don't know. I really love the anthology type stuff.
I guess they would keep it fresh, man. It makes sense. I get why you would like it.
Yeah.
You know, my wife loves the anthology shows, so like Black Mirror, stuff like that. Is American Horror Story? It's like an anthology series.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of individual episodes, it's seasons.
Yeah.
But it's all one big universe,
It's
right?
cool.
Technically.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna fight.
Right on. You ready to fight?
I'm gonna fight.
You want to fight?
I'm gonna whoop your ass, boy.
All right. This is our this is our segment. Matt versus Adam.
What?
We take a random a Marvel, DC, cartoon, or anime character randomizer off of TikTok, and we pick. We see who gets what, and then we battle. All right. So you won last time.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. So I'm 2-1. You're 1-2.
Yep.
So do you want to go first this time?
Yeah.
Or since you won, do you want to pick which one we're
Yeah.
doing?
Let me.
So
think.
we got Marvel, DC, we got anime right there, video game, and I've added the tunes.
Do the tunes
I
because
know
we
you
wanted
wanted
to do the tunes and we weren't able to.
All right. So who you got?
Let's see. It's scrolling.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's working or
Try
not.
and push it. It might. Some of those filters do that, man. They'll take forever.
Oh, what the hell? It's not stopping. That's funny.
Here we go. I'll fix it. All right. Let's do that. See if it's going to stop. We might have to record, actually. Let's try that.
All right, let's see.
Should stop. Oh, who'd you get?
Gary Goodspeed. I can't even tell who that's from.
That's
Is that the back?
That's Final Space. That's
Is
that
it?
awesome show that was on Amazon, I believe.
Is the Star Trek knockoff one?
Yeah, the guy with the he had the best friend, the cat. That was his best friend, and oh man, that show was so. My daughter and I freaking loved that show, dude.
He's just a completely normal guy.
He's just a
isn't he?
regular guy.
Okay, let's see what you got. I am man.
I got Marge Simpson.
I was thinking my plain man wasn't gonna win.
Yes. Wait, hold up. You think he's gonna beat Marge?
Yeah, he's a nerdy space guy, but he's a guy.
I mean, you give Marge a frying pan, she's pretty mean with it.
We're not talking about roid rage Marge. We're talking about plain.
Oh, it would be over.
Plain regular Marge.
It would be over.
I know.
But I'm thinking, okay, so when you do tunes, you have to incorporate the crazy world, like the argument that SpongeBob and Eddie from Ed, Edd and Eddie are like two of the strongest things that ever existed, right? Because of, Ed ate an entire sidewalk or something. Like
that's like with video game characters.
Yeah, exactly.
The amount
of
feats they do because it's a show that goes on forever, and it's by it being a cartoon. Fact of his cartoon, the feats are amazing in all cartoons, basically.
So Marge was a boxer at one
Marge
point,
did
right?
everything.
Yeah,
if you
so-
want to go on like that route.
So you're a regular guy.
Who's done all sorts of crazy stuff in space.
You're a space pilot. You're a captain of a ship, and you're definitely a fighter. I don't think you have any special like upgrades. I don't know if you have like a metal arm.
No,
or
I think he
anything.
relies on the crew like he would in a Star Trek.
Yeah, he's
type
definitely
thing.
kind of dumb. Like
Yeah.
as far as intelligence goes, I got you on that one because he was a
Oh,
goofball.
that was like his main character trait, wasn't it?
Yes.
Kind of being a dummy.
Oh yeah, he was a big goofball.
Okay, I thought so.
And he was like lovable.
I remember him a little bit. I'm not gonna lie and be like, "Oh, it's my favorite show ever. I know everything about that character."
Dude, I loved it. Like
I'm glad you know who it is.
It was a good story, like really good story, dude. There's so many. Stephen Yeun was in it from Invincible. Glenn, David Tennant was in it. Ron Funches, Conan O'Brien, Jane Lynch, Keith David,
God damn.
Fred Armisen, Tom Kenny, who was, I believe, SpongeBob.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people, and it got canceled. It got 3 seasons, and then got canceled. So let me see if I can.
See any feats?
Like any powers.
I feel like he was like, I could probably do like karate chops and stuff. Yeah, I feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you are more like Peter Quill. I think you're a lot like Star-Lord.
The analog of
He has
more
no
like that.
unique powers, but he is reasonably good with people. He also has a friend called Mooncake. It's that floating green ball. He protects him by firing planet-destroying laser beams. So that's how Gary gets out of stuff. Is he's got Mooncake that can destroy freaking planets and spaceships.
That's right. Okay. So
Do you have him? Because if you got him, do I have Homer?
I mean,
if I have Homer and Bart, dude, it's over.
Homer's like the Blob in
can't
like
hurt him.
canon. Yeah, he's
He fell down the Springfield Gorge 3 times, but I didn't get. No, you don't get Mooncake.
No, I know.
I don't get Homer.
I know.
So it's basically a regular man who has been to space, fought.
Yeah.
Jesus.
we know what you mean.
Fought many aliens and creatures and all types of stuff.
And came out alive.
Marge has had to deal with Homer and Bart.
Yeah.
And like you said, she was a boxer. She was she
literally did
weightlifter
roids at one
did
point,
roids.
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she was like, she fought zombies and aliens. And,
If you're gonna add in, the Treehouse of Horror and stuff like that.
I mean,
oh my god,
Kang and Katos exist in the
that's
regular
true, that's
Simpsons
true.
universe. But I feel like I've seen a lot of her fighting, so I feel like I have a good chance. But no, I think it's essentially this seasoned fighter / explorer against a housewife who has to deal with
tough
a tough housewife,
Yeah.
a badass housewife.
Yeah, but still just a housewife.
Put her hair down, sexy as hell.
Damn, yeah.
She was up. Remember, she was on the cover of like FHM, one of those old stupid men magazines. She was on the cover with her hair down. I think like washing the floor or something.
Scrubbing something.
Yeah, I think so. I could be
you're-
wrong, but-
That sounds right.
Very beautiful. I don't find cartoons attractive.
Oh yeah. Cool. All right, so my man beats up your woman.
You.
So we're 2-2 now.
2-2. Shit. I was all sitting pretty and high. Like he ain't gonna catch it up.
Well, since
like,
it's random, it's actually our wins are gonna actually be random.
Yeah,
since we
they
don't get
are.
a pick. Who
I mean,
we
I
wanna
could have
pick.
got Superman. Who knows? We
Exactly.
coulda, with the tunes. I think you can get Goku, and I think you can also get Superman because of Toon being like Dragon Ball, and then Superman would be in Justice League and his Superman show. So I think there's quite a few characters that we know that will pop up. All Justice League members are on there, I believe.
Probably.
So yeah, you probably just batter me.
I'm the best. I'm the best.
I kicked this housewife's ass.
Yes.
I hope you feel good.
Amazing.
I hope you feel good.
Amazing.
You just fought and beat Marge Simpson.
Yep. She deserved it.
Ooh. All right, so yeah, I think that's the show.
I think you might be right.
All right, well, y'all have a good one.
Bye.